So what fun stories? I want to hear some of the stories from your customers, or from building, from your guys, from anything.
Oh, there's a bunch, but if you just throw it at me like that, I remember one gal. We were all leaving for the last day, and you can't make this stuff up. We didn't do it, But anyway, we were leaving for the last day, and we all hug and everything, and we're backing out of the driveway, giving the final salute, and the gal turns around and moons us. And we all look like this. We go, "Are you kidding me?" I swear it's a true story. We just started laughing, and we all went like this and waved out the window, and away we went. You can't, but that was a great story.
That's a great farewell right there.
I hope she's listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
She might.
That's a good opener right there.
Today we have a rare treat. We have a GLH dealer and builder, Jeff Fore from Petersburg, Illinois. And Jeff has been a dealer for GLH since 1990. And it's kind of interesting how Jeff got into this business. Jeff, you want to tell everybody how you became a log home builder dealer?
Well, I guess it would have to start when I was about 16 years old, before I actually got hooked up with you. I sent out some things to log home companies. I was interested in building a log home when I was young, and there was 3 companies that sent information back to me out of about probably 20 that I sent to, and you were one of them.
Oh, right.
So 4 or 5 years later, I went to X-ray school, become an X-ray tech, and worked in the cardiac cath lab for 5 years, and I built my home. Because I had that job, I was able to borrow the money to build my first log home, which was 1986 that I bought from you, and I lived in it for 4 years or whatever, and then had a lot of people call and wanted me to come and help stack logs, and they came out to my house and really liked it, and I finally was able to say, is this something I could do for a living? And that's when I went with you, and I ended up buying the dealerships and started doing it full time in 1990.
Uh-huh.
That's when I built my first house.
I didn't remember
living.
I did remember the story about you being 16 and writing out to log home companies. You realize that Lacey probably had mailed you that literature because she
probably got paid a penny to do it also.
Yeah,
so yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, I can't remember. I still have it, actually. I've got a log home file, and I saved that stuff because, I think yours was just a real simple tan colored brochure of a few, and it said solid oak or something, and then there was a couple other companies that did respond, and you guys were the closest, and so that's how I got hooked up with you originally.
So
I was still in high school.
I was going to say, how at 16 did you know you wanted to build a log home?
I had friends that we thought we were going to move to Maine and be mountain men, and when we were in 5th grade, we were drawing pictures of log cabins, and we were going to move to Maine and homestead ground and cut the trees down and build a log home, and that's something
that's
I've always,
awesome.
Since I was very young, that I dreamed of having a log cabin. So
that's so fun. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. So how many of the other guys have built a log home that are your friends?
Oh, well, I don't think any of them.
Oh,
I think
man,
I was the
what
only
posers.
one that actually did. Yeah. So,
Oh, that's so fun, though. That's so neat.
And how many log homes have you built in your career?
well, you said 110. I think it's at least 105, but probably could make it be 110 because some of the room additions and stuff that I built on houses could be considered another home. So, if you're building 1,000 square foot houses, is like building 50 2,000 square foot houses, and I built a lot of smaller homes between the 1,000 and 1,500 range early in my career, so that helped boost the numbers a little bit.
Well, I think part of that was because the house you built for yourself is a hideaway. Started out as just a hideaway. You've added on to it since then, but I think that people come to see it, and people have a tendency to buy what they can see.
Yeah.
So.
And you said that early on, and we both had talked about that over the years. That wonder what I could have sold if I'd have had a bigger model home.
Yeah.
Which I believe that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People buy what they see. They come in and walk into the hideaway, and they go, I think I could live in this. Well,
Right.
that ends up. That's why I build a lot of that model. And then the size bumped up a little bit when I was in it full time. We didn't always have contracts, so I would buy lots, and once in a while, if we didn't have something sold, I'd build a spec home. And a lot of the places I build them, they had to be 1,500 square feet to meet the covenants, and that started bumping me up because people started seeing those homes.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, right?
And that's how that
it
became. I would say probably later in my career, the primary homes ended up being somewhere between 1,800 and 2,300 square feet, but we still built a lot of those small cabins for secondary or vacation homes. That was a big part of my career, was building secondary homes, hunting ground. They'd put a cabin up on it, and a lot of the connections I made on that came to be because of me working in the hospital. I had all those connections with all the doctors, and I built a lot of houses for doctors. And then the next doctor would say, what's Dr. So-and-so's house? How many square feet is that? And I said, well, it's 1,000 square feet. And he said, I want 1,200 square feet. So every time it started getting to where they get in bigger and bigger, just so the other guy would have to outdo his
right.
So that was a big part of it. I think that became more of my niche than anything, was the vacation homes. I built a lot of them.
Was that kind of driven? I mean, I guess not necessarily on purpose, maybe, but what do you think kind of drove that to be your niche?
Well, like I said, being around those people at the hospital, and a lot of those guys, we had connections with hunting and fishing and stuff like that, and so
kind of organically.
That was the connection to everybody. There's a lot of them people that wanting to buy a couple hundred acres, or most of them had somewhere between 80 and one guy I think had 350 acres, and that's what they liked to do.
Right.
They wanted it for that reason.
Right.
We sell, that's one of our demographics. We sell a lot too, people in the medical field, a lot of nurses and doctors. And so, that's really common. We sell a lot to the people in the medical profession. I think it is because they, being an amateur, a psychologist, I think it's because they work in such a sterile environment that they really want wood products, something natural to go to. That's kind of, it balances it out some.
I can speak from experience working in a cardiac cath lab for 5 years. It's pretty stressful, and basically, I looked at my house all these years. I still look at it as a vacation home. I just, when people go, well, we're going to go on vacation, and we're going to, we got this log cabin we're going to stay in. Well, it's not quite as a big a deal to me because I do that every day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I know that feeling. I come home and you drive in the driveway and think, boy, I'm lucky to live here, because it's really, really, really nice. I know you have sold houses to a lot of different people. You had some really different experiences. What's one of the stories you'd like to share with the people that listen to our podcast?
Some of my best friends are people that I built log homes for. Mm-hmm. So my reputation, that was good. That people would have good things to say about me, and to this day, a couple of my best friends are people that I built log homes for that I didn't know prior to building their homes.
That's
and
cool.
I probably still have the keys to, once I say this, I'll probably say, they got broke into yesterday. But I still have the keys to probably 40 log homes that I built that when I go back and do service work, they say, you still got the key? Well, just go on in. Most of them are them weekend type homes. People live far away than I would go back and do service work. But I don't know. Some people are really easy to deal with. You know, you learn how to deal with different personalities. And I was thinking of one of those stories this morning that we laughed about. We built a house for a farmer, an older gentleman, and we had the frame up, the shell was up, and I guess he thought it was done. You know, he thought we were done. And it had the rafters, exposed rafters. And he went in the house and he's looked around and he said, "Looks good." And he said, "Is there any way you could spruce that up a little bit up there?" And he's pointing at the inside of the rafters. I go, "Well, that's not the finished product. We still got to put insulation in and put the wood ceiling in and everything." He goes, "Oh, okay." So that's how easy that guy would have been to please. He thought probably if he wanted to make it look better, I could have charged him more because that's the finished product. So that's how easy it can be. And then other people, you know, there's one piece of wood in the middle of the ceiling that they don't like, and we have to go up there and cut it out because it's got a knot in it or something, you know, and you have to deal with both ends of it.
One thing that you mentioned earlier, you talked about built a spec home, and so that's a buzzword in the construction industry for the term speculative home, meaning that's a house that a builder builds. He builds it himself with the idea of selling it. And so he's just hoping he can build it and sell it and make a profit. And you did quite a few spec homes, and I think that what if I remember correctly, I think every spec home you built, you sold 1 to 3 houses off of that spec home. People would come to see the spec home, and they'd say, "Well, this isn't exactly what we want, but could you build me one that's..."
Yeah, and I the first one that I built, I would say it was a mistake to build a ranch home just because that's the only one that I had for a while. But not that there's anything wrong with it. It's still there, and it's sold. But after I had all those people come in, they go, "Well, it's really beautiful, but if I would buy it if it had a loft in it." We envision a log home has to have a loft in it. So every one after that had lofts in them. And every one after that, all but one, I guess I should say, all sold without any people just drove by or people found out about them, and I didn't have to have a realtor or anything. They got sold.
Yeah.
And same thing. I bumped up to that Dakota model because there's a subdivision there close to home that's 1 acre lots, and it's all a lot of rustic. Several log homes, and I built I think there's one in there that I didn't build. I built the rest of them in there, so it's like my own little
subdivision.
I took you there. I think one day we drove through there. I said I built this one. I built it, and they were all spec homes.
Yeah.
All but one. There was one in there that wasn't a spec home, but
a log home has to have a loft and a porch.
Well,
right.
That's my experience. I wouldn't. If I was going to build a spec home, it'd have a front porch, and I don't think people. If it's got the bedrooms, that they need, and it's got the look that they're after, that is it's pretty hard to beat the old, shed porch, with the loft and the openness, and take advantage of the views. And I always they were all wooded lots, so they were kind of pretty looking out the back. And I'd love to have a spec home for sale, in the fall. Between October and Christmas time, because it's just if you get a snowy day and you decorate that house with with the Christmas stuff, people they just fall in love with it. You can't
perfect
find
log home weather.
Perfect home to have that have that hominess like that.
Right. That's my favorite part about our houses too, because you can have a very rustic, traditional log home, front porch, loft, fireplace, chimney, or you can have, on the opposite side of that spectrum, we can make it lots more modern, very different, but it's all the same thing, you know, and that's what I think is so cool. Is it same product, very different outcome? Yeah,
and we've had that. Obviously, I've built enough of them that, you get different ideas of how they're supposed to be finished on the inside, and I'm a rustic guy, but when I built the spec home, I always put drywall in the bedrooms, and I always put drywall in the bathrooms and stuff like that, and on anything but the perimeter walls, obviously.
Right.
We would build a house, and the wife would build the kitchen would be white cabinets with chrome and all this, and I'd look at it and I'd go, that's not me. But she'd go, what do you think of my cabinets? I said, they're beautiful. You can't argue with the woman on the kitchen.
Yeah.
So yeah, they build how do they, however they want it. It's their house.
Yes, exactly.
Mine's about as rustic as you can get,
Right.
With dead animals and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I told you that story about the woman that came in and she walked in the doors and she looked in, she goes, can't do it. Out she went. The husband come in, but she wouldn't come in because I have deer and stuff on the wall. So you
wouldn't even look.
You can't.
Couldn't even look.
Yeah. So
that's funny.
Which you're a big hunter and fisherman, and so that all makes sense.
It's the classic. They come in, and I really, it's a little overdone on that. There's probably, I don't know, 20 deer on the wall.
It takes a man to admit that,
I got a moose on the wall and all that stuff. And the guys will come in and they'll look around and there's turkey plumes all up and down the beams. They're completely covered on both sides with turkey plumes. And they come in, they go, do a little hunting, do you? Yeah. And I'm like, no, I bought them at a garage sale.
Right.
So.
Well, Jeff, at Gastineau, we sell houses. We have houses available in oak, pine, cedar, and cypress. I think you and I both have the same opinion on which of those is the best. And but I know that you have done maintenance work on some other types of houses and that kind of thing. But if you would just kind of give your opinion as a builder, the difference between building an oak house and a pine house, and what your thoughts are of what's good and bad. And
well, I'm a log home guy. I love them all. The worst one's still pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But I always, I'm not trying to. It's not really a sales pitch. It's how I really mm-hmm. feel, and I've done a lot of service work to prove it. And what I say is, if the advantage to building one of our oak houses is you can abuse that house. You can not take very good care of it, and over 40 years from now, without much care at all, it'd be still repairable and in pretty good shape. Mm-hmm. Would I do that? No. But the others, we've literally had to build houses around them. There's nothing left. It was dust. Mm-hmm. So I'm not cutting, if they would have taken care of it properly, it may have been okay. But I do believe mm-hmm. that it's more important to take care of one of them than it is ours, because ours can still hang in there pretty good. They're that's pretty tough wood.
It is. Right. It is.
And and I also, over the years, I try to tell people to design your houses. If it costs a little bit more to design it where you protect the logs, it's worthwhile in the long
mm-hmm.
run. That's money you're going to save later from having to do as much maintenance on them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've said the same thing. We don't have any control over the houses after we turn them over to the customer, or after they're built, and we have to design the house, and we actually talk about that in our meetings whenever we're talking about changing how we do something. Is like, how can somebody abuse this, and how can somebody, what can we do to make sure people don't abuse the house? But how can it be done? Because it is true. Some people will build the house and then do absolutely nothing to take care of it forever. And our houses, the oak can take it.
A little bit of maintenance, a little bit. I built my house in 1986. I've never replaced anything on it. Mm-hmm. It's still as beautiful if it was the day that I built it. Mm-hmm. But I also have the eyeball to see, if there's a little issue here or there or a little caulk to do, I do it. Mm-hmm. It's not the end of the world.
Just a little pay attention a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It's just, I've had people they leave the gutter downspout off for 20 years and they go, well, what's wrong? Why is this log doing this?
Right.
I'm like, well, have you not noticed that the gutter's been off for 20 years?
Yeah.
Why? That's
gutters are really important.
That's their fault.
Right.
Pay attention a little bit.
It's not the log's fault.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. It would be a problem no matter what kind of house it was.
Right. Absolutely.
I see that. I see people saying negative things about log homes as far as maintenance and that kind of thing, and it really it upsets me, because I know that really you can make any log home last a long time if you like on pine logs, if you treat them with borates and you take care of them and you can make them. The oak houses can take more abuse, but we have people that I've seen pictures of some really dumb construction practices. And people that
You have?
yeah, and some people who will think that they don't pay attention to the advice or how somebody that's been in the business for 48 years says this is how you should do it, and they go do things, and then they complain and blame. When they have an issue later, they blame it on it being a log home.
Yeah.
And it's not the log home.
No.
It was the person that built it or that designed it or whatever, and the poor logs take the rap.
I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And an example, one of the houses that I built and did service work on, when I say service work, we go back, I look at them. I kind of go around, I'll tell them, hey, it looks like you're getting ready to maybe need another stain job or whatever. And they had planters under the windows with real dirt in them and real flowers. And they just didn't go and run a little water in there. They had one of those sprayers like this going on the side, spraying the whole side of the house every day. Dirt running down the side of the house. And I told the guy that owned the place, I said, you got to stop her from doing that. I go, you're going to be having repairs if you don't, you're abusing that house as bad as you possibly can. He goes, just come and fix it. Whatever needs fixed. He goes, I'm not listening to her. So how do you fix that?
You go back and fix it. Yeah.
Right? Oh, the log had a problem.
Right.
No, the log didn't have a problem.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just fine sitting there until you got it wet every day.
Yeah.
Since 1990, a lot has changed in housing in general. What did you see? Well, you said before everybody wants a loft in their log home. Are there anything in the the recent years as far as design goes that people are always asking for these days?
Believe it or not, that particular style is still
tried
my
and true.
thing.
Yep.
I don't know if it's just because my brain won't let anything change, but but we've built all most of the models. I mean the newer models. We built several of them also, and the open thing still, people are still happy with that.
Yep.
Open concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were open concept before that was cool.
And then a lot of more. There seems to be a lot more wanting to add to the outdoor part of it, the screened-in porches and multiple decks, and and I'm one of those guys that's like, oh, you don't want to do that, but whatever they want. But I've got decks all the way around my house, and I use about one of them, but it looks cool. And then it makes it easy to maintain. You can put everything's flat around it because I'm on a hillside about this steep. But kitchens a little bit more space in kitchens, I think.
Yep.
It used to be, we made the joke, I said all you need is a microwave and a sink, but it's not really that way. I mean, people are building, they want pretty nice kitchens.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Not as much. People are not worried about fireplaces like they used to be. Do you notice that?
I've noticed that too.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I don't, have to have a fireplace. And they're just, some of them are just doing those through the wall, and we're okay with that because that's just a large expense that they can put someplace else.
Right.
If I don't try to talk them into that. If that if you don't not going to burn wood, I probably, that's interesting. That part of it is probably something that the fireplace thing has changed. Used to be everybody wanted a wood stove. Everybody wanted, outdoor burner. We don't see a lot of that anymore. It's, geotherms and
People don't want to cut wood.
Well, yeah. And, when I did the same thing, I didn't have a furnace for 4 or 5 years in that house.
You just use wood.
Until I was out of town building log homes, and my dad got tired of stoking the wood stove. He said, about time to get a furnace, right? So that's why that changed. But, yeah. So, I think those are probably a couple areas that I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not, but that's what I'm seeing.
We had some customers that have pulled rock off their property and, built the rock fireplace, and that's super, super cool. I love being able to tie the land into the house. But I also think that there's nothing better on a Christmas snowy day. Nothing better than a wood burning fireplace.
It is.
It's just that's quintessential to me. For
You're
sure.
young enough that you still can do it.
There's something about the smell of a wood fire is really good. But
Yes, they love doing
Well,
it.
Jeff,
too.
if somebody was listening to our podcast today and they were had a little bit of construction background, what kind of advice would you give them if they wanted to become a builder and or a dealer builder of log homes?
Well, I mean, I think today the advantage that somebody today would have a young guy, he would be a little more tech savvy than me. You know, I kind of joked with Ben earlier about, you know, when I was the dealer of the year one time, I think the marketing guy says, "What do you have in your office for equipment?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "What kind of, you know?" And I said, "I got a phone and a pencil and a spiral notebook," and sold a lot of log homes. And so
Keep it simple, right?
But I think the guys today, if you know how to do, you know, if you know if this is the way that people want to do business, it's tough to teach me new tricks, you know. But the advantage on the building side of it today is no different than yesterday or 10 years ago. You are in a niche that you don't have a lot of competition. And and literally, I'm in a position now that I'm turning away work every day. I'm turning away work. Some of it's mostly service work now, but when you build 110 log homes, if you only get 10% of them to call you back, that would keep me busy on,
right.
you know, doing you know, little things and projects, and people are always wanting to put a new deck on or whatever, you know.
Right.
So there's the work is there. You don't ever have to worry about whether you're going to work or not. And, you know, I don't know if you consider it a disadvantage or not, but one of the things that I did, I went wherever I had to go, and I did stay regionally, or even I advertised regionally, but most of my stuff was built in Illinois. I did build one in Wisconsin and one in Iowa, and you know, over by Indiana, but I tried to stay close to home. And then when we were out of town, we'd work 4-10. So yeah, you know, you still can get 3-day weekends, and you know, I'm just saying there is a place that you could stay as busy as you want to stay.
Right.
You know, I don't know how good a luck they'll have finding the guys willing to work. But you know, I think they're out there.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just tired enough that I don't need. I've been doing it long enough. When all my guys retired, I'm the last one, and I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to start over again.
Yeah. You know, some of the builders that have never, particularly ones have never built an oak log home, they will complain about the logs being heavy. You've built oak and pine. And considering all the different factors, from weight to how they cut to how they go together, what are your opinion on the comparing the oak and pine products?
I've actually built, when I did build pine, they were bigger logs.
Like a handcrafted or
It was a big Swedish cope. And I mean, you know, I don't know what we're getting into here as far as I didn't know you built a hand or whatever. That was one that I slipped in when Lynn wasn't looking. But I didn't build the whole thing. I got called to help put logs up because they had a crew and they just wasn't getting anything done. I just helped put the logs up and I got out of there. But they were kind of heavy because of the size of them. You know, when we work with the yellow pine, it's pretty heavy. You know what I mean? It's not a lot less than the oak. A little, you know. To me, once you lift the first 20 logs in a day, there's not much difference. You get used to whatever weight they are.
Yeah.
You know,
good point.
and then you know, I would and then what I would say about that is, the first several that we built, we didn't have a forklift, and we used to have those roller things, and we'd roll them into the house on them, set up them things, and roll them over to the house, and you know, once I started buying forklifts and rough terrain machines, and they were the best tool on the job. And that's when we started making some money, because you could make time. You know, you didn't have to worry about unloading it 20 feet from the house. You know, you unload them wherever and carry them up there when you need them. That would be something that I would recommend to a builder to make sure, if you know, get you some kind of probably best would be a telehandler of some kind, because ultimately that's what you're going to want. And
Invest
you don't
in
have
that.
to have a brand. You don't have to have a. I bought a $28,000 machine. And I
And you probably sold it for $28,000.
I think I sold it for $14,000 or $15,000 after using it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much money did it make me?
Right.
Right.
One of my old
Good
forklifts
investment.
says on the side of it, "The best man on the job."
That was the name.
Because they just
They don't
some
take
people,
breaks.
some
you
people,
cannot believe, if you pack in a 44,000 pound bunk with the machine, and I'd set it right up there. Well, if you did that with the guys, we'd have to take you'd be beat up by the
Yeah.
time you got them on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So that's the thing. The weight thing didn't matter too much to me after a while. And when we did lift them, I was 25 or 30 years old. Not a problem. That's a big
You got
difference.
that, yeah.
What I've had builders tell me that had done a lot of pine, and then they do their first one of ours. They say, yeah, they're heavy, but they're straight. They're,
Yeah, I never.
they're not- they're
I mean,
not
I
as-
didn't build enough of the other ones to have a complaint about that, but I could see that.
Yeah. The oak stay straighter and
It is
and-
straight. Yep.
Yeah. So Jeff, you've been in this business a long time. We kind of grew old together.
We did.
And I know that myself. I really feel a feeling of self awareness and appreciation for the fact that I've had the opportunity in my life to do what I've done. I think that providing people with these beautiful houses that we know are going to last hundreds of years is just something to be really proud of. And I wondered if you have got that same kind of you have the same kind of reflection and feeling.
Well, yeah. Two of the things that I find strange is that I would work with, I couldn't picture myself being involved with a woman on a business deal back. That's not. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the.
You're not Mill Show
But
just big.
you've been a great person to work with, all these years, and we've been able to talk, on the phone like you're supposed to talk
Yeah.
on the phone about business.
Yeah.
I didn't have to hold back, and you didn't hold back, and we plumbed each other up a time or two, but everything worked out good. But yeah, I quit a job that had a good retirement and vacation and all that for a job that didn't have that.
Yeah.
But I made enough money, and I'm frugal, and I was able to make a living at it. And I bought 141 acres of land and built a nice log home. And I'm not a pauper, but all basically from the log home business. That's what I did. And so yeah, I can't imagine that somebody wouldn't want to maybe do that. It's been good for me. And when you drive away from them houses, it's a great feeling. And them, and also the people that say thank you. The people tell me that all the time. I've had them hug me when the tornado hit their house. One house got hit by a tornado, and she come up and give me a great big hug, and she said, "Thank you for building me a good house. We thought we were going to die." And those are the kind of things that you remember. And so yeah, I always tell people. They say, "Do you have regrets? What would you how in what you did?" And I said, "No, I don't have regrets. I believe in fate, and I believe this is what I was supposed to do." And so I might have had enough, if you want to ask it that way. But I do. I think I've come to that point. Maybe I have had enough, but I'd still try to stay in the maybe the sales end of it. That was my dream to be able to do just do that and talk to everybody.
Right.
Save my back. But.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun together over the years, and you're very right. We've learned a lot from you, and you've given us some good ideas, and I really appreciate all the input that you've given over the years. And even though maybe sometimes we can't do it all, there's a lot of things we incorporated into how we do things from your suggestions, and we give those suggestions to people.
Yeah, and I see pictures, that come up places on Facebook or that other people are doing like a landscape job or not, and I put on there, I recognize that house because I had little things that I did to mine that have my signature on them. I can tell it from a mile away.
Yep.
I'm like, I built that house,
Yeah.
So Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, as much as I know we could sit here and talk all day long, we do need to wrap this up.
Oh,
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming and sitting down with us and telling stories. It's always a pleasure, and always learn something.
well, glad for having me. Thanks.
It's been great. And again, we'll after they quit recording, you and I could just keep on
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah. Yeah.